I want to ask you about something else you mentioned a little bit earlier about the reporting. Some people, the more derogatory, would call it snitch culture or rat culture. This idea that, people are expected to report on the misdeeds or microaggressions or whatever to some sort of authority, right? This is something that's very common and I would say a centerpiece of communist society.
Centerpiece,
that's for sure.
That's a good word, yes.
Yeah.
And in the Cultural Revolution, absolutely, we were encouraged, everyone was encouraged to report on everyone else, including your parents. And so there are so many stories of parents being reported by their children, and some ended being executed. And a husband report on wife and vice versa. And I know someone personally, and it's just a grandpa holding a baby of his grandson and just having just some kind of a talking going on with this little tiny baby, and just on his wall there's only one thing, it's Mao's picture. That's always they say, oh, look at that picture. So the neighbor heard it and say that he referred Mao's portrait as a picture. He was arrested.
It's incredible. So this whole idea of prescribed speech being really taken to the...
And the reporting is like my parents always never have anything like a formal conversation in front of us. That we just have like a conversation, like a just daily kind of short type of thing, because they knew that it can be dangerous. And so because of that, even today, the human relationships suffer from the Cultural Revolution. People don't have trust of each other. You don't know who and when people will turn you in. And so that, to me, is like I would never imagine that happening in America, but it's happening all around us. We see little girls or little children going to social media denouncing their parents as racists. And we saw young student report on other student after she was admitted to college of something that she said like years ago, so that just to damage and ruin her future. We see it all around us. And in the workplace, people called to call out those people who make racist remarks. So we're creating, Biden said, report your family and friends, radicalize the family and the friends to the federal government. So that is the culture. Why? Fear. They want to have people be fearful. When people are fearful and watching each other, they're basically controlled.
So you mentioned children denouncing their parents, and I want to kind of build on that a little bit. It makes me think of something I wanted to talk about today, which was this letter from the National School Board Association that the Justice Department recently responded to. I mean, ostensibly, the letter said that there is an immediate threat of violence, actually, from parents, right? And then, the Justice Department very quickly responded. It's basically, federal government is going to be working with state, local, tribal, and territorial law enforcement to address such threats. Mm-hmm. They see this credibly, and I can't help but think, I can imagine that there's lots of parents concerned if they're seeing children denouncing parents. Mm-hmm. Is there really a threat? I mean, a lot of people are asking these questions right now.
Yes, parents are very angry. They are angry, but is that considered violence? I guess the parents haven't been this angry for decades. So many of them went to school board and voiced their concerns, and they denounced the school board, and they have rallies a lot of times. I know I've been to several. So they consider this violence because they don't want parents to be part of the education decision. And today I heard that the head of the education department said something like it was the teacher who should determine what to be taught to the school children, not parents. And that is absolutely what happened in China. From day one, we were taught that we belong to the party, and we should obey the party instruction, and the parents have nothing to say about the education. And it's always that way. I never even questioned it. And actually, the parents, if they don't say anything that in line with what's taught in school, the students or the children can report them. But I did not know that. And the first time I heard that the value should be taught to children by the parents, I find that intriguing. That was, after I came here, I never even thought about it. I thought it's always school decide what to teach, and the school get the instruction from the party. But now we see it happen here. We see that they don't want parents to be part of the education. They want to dictate what to be taught. And they, I mean the left.
So, I remember there was a Harvard professor that actually was commenting on homeschooling as a kind of a threat. I don't know if you remember this, basically, because, we would lose control of what the values that children are taught.
Yeah.
Right.
That is the same, again, I refer to the same Marxist playbook. It's destruction of nuclear family. And one of the strongest thing in the West is nuclear family, right? Especially Christianity emphasized that, the value of a nuclear family, of the values passed down from parents to children and generation after generation. They are the carrier of the values. And so they don't want that. To indoctrinate children, you want to remove the parents from the education process. That happened in China. We saw disastrous result during the Cultural Revolution, and the left is doing it here.
Well, so it's interesting because when I think of Chinese, right, I actually think of, very successful family structure, at least the Chinese that I know. Yeah. I almost feel like, sort of American, Canadian families at large could learn a lot from the Chinese example.
Well, I would say that's traditional Chinese family value based on Confucianism. And family is absolutely the base of a society. The CCP turned it upside down and said country is the base of family. Without country, you can't have family. But anyway, that is the strongest Chinese traditional value is family. And during the Cultural Revolution, they did a lot of damage. But again, people still hold on to nuclear family because that's where you get your support. That's where you get the values. I would say they did not manage to totally dismantle the nuclear family. But that's what they did, and that's what they tried to do.
So since June, when you became more familiar to Americans and I think beyond America as well, how have things gone? I mean, obviously you've been, you've gotten more involved in a lot of actions. How have you seen things change now into October?
I think there's great things happening. I think finally the parents are waking up. I think it has a lot to do with COVID because parents, for the first time in their lives, were able to see what's going on in the classrooms through Zoom. And they were shocked. Actually, the first thing came out of the Zoom meetings from Loudon, if you remember, that a history teacher was talking to a black student and showing the photo of a black girl and a white girl and said he asked what he sees. He said, 2 girls. No, what do you really see? 2 girls, they are doing something. No. The answer is you should say a black girl and a white girl. Basically, he wants to really teach people to look for color first. And so that was reported and what went viral, I think. That's how it started. And then parents started to pay closer attention what's going on in the classroom. That's why they were just outraged. And that's why the parents went to the school board. Now school board meeting become the battlefield all over the country because parents are now taking action.
So among the groups and the people that you've worked with, do you feel like there is any threat of violence from parents?
No, absolutely not. Not even close. I've been to school board rally many times. And I saw also the rally from the other side. It's all peaceful. And I would say that the parents are angry. They used angry language many times. That we can see most of the video went viral. You can check out yourself. That's not violence.
So what's next for you?
I just feel like now, because that school board meeting speech I made, now I was able to reach to more people. And I have to say, I am doing this because I want to wake people up. What's happening here in America is nothing new. It happened in China. It happened to me. And this is my lived experience. And if we let it go and not stopping it, we'll have the same result. The result of the Cultural Revolution, as I said earlier, is the total destruction of the society. And that's what waits for us if we don't stop it. There's something else I really want to say. When I come to this country, I just feel like the freedom is for me to enjoy. It's here. And I never, in my wildest dream, did I think that one day I have to defend this freedom. If I don't, it may just go away. So I really urge all immigrants who love this country, who experienced communism, speak up. This is our last chance. If we don't save this country, there's no place for us to go.
Well, Xi Van Fleet, it's such a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you so much.